Good morning, my darlings. Little later than planned, but had to get lots of things sorted around the house. The time is 10:55. I'm only 55 minutes late, but sometimes these things happen. And we just got to roll with it. Anyway, here we are. And I thought we'd kick off with John Carpenter and the Prince of Darkness. Now, who else saw that film when they were younger and they were way too young and didn't understand it? And then I've watched it now in probably their 20s and 30s. I would have said you understand it more when you're in your 30s. I absolutely love The Prince of Darkness. Oh, dearie me. It's subtle. It's a sneaky horror. It's part of John Carpenter's apocalyptic trilogy, starting off with The Thing, which we were discussing yesterday. And then you have The Prince of Darkness. And then you have In the Mouth of Madness, which is his final one, which takes us to the actual end of the world. It's hinted at in The Thing. It's shown briefly, hauntingly in The Prince of Darkness, and in The Mouth of Madness, it takes us there. I absolutely love the premise of a church. Very nondescript, very humble, quiet church. A nondescript town in America that is harboring the devil in a green goo liquid in a cylinder underneath the church, and there's only a handful of priests that know about it, and they're all sworn to secrecy. And Donald Pleasance is in it. I mean, he's a staple, isn't he? Donald Pleasance and John Carpenter. He played Dr. Loomis in all the Halloween franchise, as many as he could be in. Then he was the president of the United States of America when Snake Plissken was trying to escape from New York. And he was in The Prince of Darkness. So he's quite a staple character, isn't he? I like Donald Pleasance. He's a good British actor. His daughter's a good actress as well, and she was in that very unsettling film from 1980 called Godsend. And if you haven't seen that, well, the premise is a woman mysteriously turns up to on a walk that her mum and dad and a family, their young children are all walking on, and she's heavily pregnant. They invite her back to their house, and she has the baby and then disappears. A bit like a cuckoo. And the couple don't know what to do, so they decide to take the baby in. And that's when everything starts to go very wrong. Watch it. I won't spoil it, but it's called The Godsend. And it stars Donald Sutherland's daughter. And she's just like her dad. Anyway, back to The Prince of Darkness. So we've got a very unassuming church in a very nondescript town in America. And they just so happen to be harbouring the devil, who is sealed within a cylinder. He is a green goo, and there is a very mysterious solar eclipse, and it must have altered something within our realm and the outer realm. And it has caused a bunch of scientists and physicists, metaphysicists, to go and study to see what it is, and they do all the studying, and they ask all sorts of questions, and the computer basically works out for them that there is no escape and this is the end of the world. And each and every astrophysicists, that's it, that's the word I'm looking for. These astrophysicists that try saying that 3 times fast are there studying this rare phenomenon that's the solar eclipse has had an effect, and it has made the veil of that is between our world and the spiritual world very, very thin. And of course, the devil is going to take advantage of this, is he not? To come through and cause havoc and holy hell on planet Earth. And it's up to these astrophysicists to try and work out what's going on and to stop Armageddon. And the computer says no. So it's basically a battle between good and evil. And I absolutely love the premise of all the scientists individually being possessed and, destroyed by the green goo that flies out of the cylinder. And the priest knows what's going on. That's Donald Pleasance, knows what's going on. And he's trying to do his best to stop Armageddon coming through. And they're trying to look for the vessel that the devil. Oh, yeah, slow mode is on. Yeah, that's good. And they're trying to find the vessel to which the devil is going to use in order to get through to our world. And spoiler alert, it's a mirror. And one of the possessed girls, one of the scientists, she's so disfigured at this point. She's got blisters and boils, and my goodness me, she looks rough. And I don't know what's going on upstairs. Noisy. And she keeps yelling, Father, in a really possessed voice. Oh, she must be crashing through the cupboards. Eldest daughter. She's not known for subtlety. Anyway, sorry, interrupted their background noise. She's yelling, Father! And she puts her arm through the mirror to try and pull the devil from the other side, and the devil thinks he's got it in the bag. And the priest realizes, this is Donald Pleasance's part, he realizes what's happening and tries to stop the devil coming through, and inadvertently, when he smashes the mirror to stop the devil coming through, the young girl gets sucked through the mirror and she just goes through to the other side. And you think that that's it, like the film's finished at that point, but no. And it gets this really gets very creepy from this point onwards. There's only like another 4 or 5 minutes of the film left. And it seems that this girl's on-off boyfriend started having some really trippy dreams. And I mean, he were having bad dreams to start with at the beginning of the film, and so was she. But it's like in his dream, he's seeing a found footage of like the end of the world, and it's like dated, and it's got like a video replay, and he's watching it, and he knows that is something that's trying to come through from the other side, and he wakes up anyway, and he's feeling a little bit, stunned, shook up, worried. So he goes to the bathroom to get a glass of water. And I think possibly to take some medication because of all the trippy dreams that he's been having. Sorry, I just put the volume up. There we go. Anyway, so he's having this like really trippy dream, and I think he goes to the bathroom to get himself a drink of water. And the viewer is like wondering whether or not he's actually still dreaming, or if they're watching him still dreaming, or if it's for real, because the bathroom mirror, and obviously this is what the devil is using as his way of entry into our world. And I mean, I would have dropped the glass in the sink at this point. I'd have been running out of there screaming, "Not off!" And he looks in the mirror, and the girl that got sucked through to the other side is staring back at him. And I mean, I'd have lost my man at that point. Absolutely love The Prince of Darkness. It's vicious. And if the astrophysicists and the computers say no one can be saved, all souls will be lost, we're all going to die, I'd say that, yeah, the computer knows. It was like they were using artificial intelligence, AI, to work this one out. So, John Carpenter, do you know something we don't? I'm just saying. Some scary stuff. Hello, whoever has joined us. Hello, my darling. Don't be shy. Say hi back. Thank you, by the way, to all our new subscribers. We appreciate you joining and coming along for the adventure. I hope you're having a good time. We are. I'd like to say within the last 4 days, the valid view has gone from 100, 530 up to, let me see, what was it? Tell you in a minute. Data showing as of 15th of May 2025, 537 valid public watch hours, 96,000 valid public short views, and that's of the 15th of May. And we have 1,503 new, subscribers. So thank you so much. We're on our way. We appreciate you. We really do. Yeah, we're on our way, my darlings. So yeah, I really like John Carpenter. I think he's a much underrated horror filmmaker and writer and musician. And I think you need to check out some of his work. You really do. My empire. No, no, my darling. I just hope. Hello, good morning, my darling Alan. No, I just hope that we bring joy and, a bit of an escape from the humdrum of everyday life. Because let's face it, the humdrum of life can get a little bit, can't it? So, why not talk about films and books and things that we really enjoy? I say I watched John Carpenter's The Prince of Darkness not so long back. I would say about 6 months ago. And I just think it's such a subtle horror. It really is. The original Fog is fab. Oh yeah, I know. That scene at the end, when the priest is holding on to the gold cross and Blake, the pirate Blake, is come for his gold. Oh my goodness. And the music. Isn't the music just absolutely amazing? And I love the fact that it's set in a tiny coastal town of California, San Antonio Bay. And it's celebrating its anniversary of its founding. And I bet no wonder Blake came back for his gold because of what the villagers did. I mean, there they were, on their uppers, looking for somewhere to stay, somewhere safe. It were a leper colony, and the people of California, this town, said, "Yep, sure, you can park your boat here, and this is where y'all can live." But they actually, the upshot was that they sunk the ship, stole the gold, and used that to make the town. And the descendants of these people that did that, well, naturally so. They didn't know what their ancestors had done because they hushed it all up in the form of a diary, which the then priest went and hid in the walls of the church, and they didn't find out until right towards the end that what their ancestors had done. And therefore, that's why Blake had come back and he was picking them all up, and rightly so, he wanted his gold back. And I mean, what's not to like? It's a classic example of a fantastically written ghost story. Yeah, it was done on a budget. It just so happens that James Herbert had a book come out at the same time called The Fog, and the movie The Fog came out, which sometimes it just happens to be like that. Serendipity. It does happen. Serendipity. It does happen. So a lot of people were renting the film The Fog, thinking they were getting the James Herbert novelisation in a movie form, and they were getting John Carpenter's San Antonio Bay. At the time, it wasn't a hit, which is a shame because it was brilliant, and it's now a cult classic. It's up there with The Thing, and you know, I think that's the one thing I take away from John Carpenter's films is, although they weren't a particular hit at the time, they've become cult classics. And there's a legion of fans now that absolutely adore John's work. I mean, I've got to love Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is in The Thing, and he plays Snake Plissken in Escape from New York and Escape from LA. And I have heard that there are talks that Snake Plissken is coming back again in a third installment for John Carpenter. So I don't know what Snake's going to be escaping from this time, but I think, it's anything like the last two. They were brilliant. So I can't wait to see what the third one's going to be all about. Another space note. Hey, you're live again. I'm glad I subbed last time. We had an interesting chat about a few good books. Yes, we did. Yeah, and at the moment we are discussing the merits of John Carpenter. Another space note. Along with Alan. Alan's the boss on here. When he's around, he just runs the joint, don't you, Alan, darling? Yes, and we all do as we're told, because Alan says so. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to another installment of Snake Plissken, because I like Snake Plissken, and I've also heard that they're doing a follow-up to Big Trouble in Little China. Again, another absolute cult classic from John Carpenter. Not a hit at the time. Shame, a real shame, because it just, if you've not seen it, watch it. It is funny. The Reign of Terror starts once more. Yes, Alan, but nobody messes with Alan. I don't mess with Alan. What he says goes. He watches over me. He does. And I love him for it. And thank you, dear. Alan is the author of The Fading Light, the Lucy series. The what or where did Lucy come from? What does Lucy want? Lucy is always watching. Lucy's got an awful lot in common with the Prince of Darkness. Yeah. What's that, my dear? His work is often underrated. The Thing is a cult classic now, but at the time it flopped. Similar trend to most of his books, movies. I know, and it's such a shame, because I love John Carpenter's work. I first saw Halloween. I must have been about 10 years old. Yeah, that'd be about right. And it just so happens that it was on the BBC, and a late night viewing, BBC Two, I think, possibly BBC One, I don't know. But it was around Halloween, and I'd sneaked out of bed because I'd seen that there was a horror movie on, and I wanted to watch it. So I sat downstairs and watched it on the old, the old televisions that we had in the 80s. They looked like bricks, didn't they, with a viewing window. It was a sharp television, yeah, which was considered quite state of the art for the time. And my dad had videotaped it anyway, so I was like, brilliant. But I wanted to watch it like on telly and all. And I just saw that and I thought, wow, that was absolutely amazing. I was absolutely terrified out of my brains, watching a serial killer going around on Halloween, bopping off a load of teenage kids that were up to no good. But at that point, I was sold on John Carpenter and I was at the races. I could not get enough of John Carpenter. And I shouldn't have been up, you're right, watching TV. Indeed, and not the screen to body ratios of modern devices. I know the TVs that we had in those days, they were bricks, square television sets. Very, very strange. Massive backs to them, didn't they? With all valves and now we're talking. 1980s old school. Yeah, so that was my first soiree into John Carpenter, was the Halloween. And then as I got older, I was into The Escape from LA. And I actually went to the cinema, sorry, Escape from New York, and I went to the cinema to see Escape from LA. And, I think Snake Plissken, absolutely, he's the man. He is the dude. And I don't think anybody but Kurt Russell could have played him. I don't even know who would have gone for an audition for that, but what I like about Kurt Russell that I see in quite a lot of the movies, especially the one he played in The Thing, and he played the part of McCready, he has mastered the art of the 1,000-yard stare. You know, the hero, the anti-hero of 1980s movies. They sort of look like they do the Dirty Harry thing so well. Was that 6 or 7 bullets I fired? Well, punk, do you feel lucky? Well, do you? Huh? I probably marmalised that one. But Kurt Russell had the ability to do the 1,000-yard stare, and he made it look cool. He did. He was just the most perfect choice for the anti-hero. And the music is so good. And yeah, John Carpenter wrote the music for his films. And, it's not, the guy has just got so much talent. He writes, he directs, he does the music. He got everything, and I can't understand why Hollywood gave him such a hard time. They didn't realise what a flipping genius they had. And true fans know, don't you? You know how good John Carpenter's work is. One thing that I ask this all the time, but in Assault on Precinct 13, right? Not the remake, the original John Carpenter one. Why did they call him Napoleon? And I keep asking, if anybody knows, please put me out of my misery. Why did they call him Napoleon? You've got to run. Another busy day editing. Good luck with the stream. Take care. And good luck, Alan. Oh, thank you. Another space note. You are so kind. Oh, well, we'll be on a while, my darling. So if you want to come back later, you can find us because I've got two massive bags here of laundry that I've got to iron today to go back tonight for a customer. So I'm going to be a wee while and we're going to be talking all about anything and everything to do with horror. And anything you want to like pop on and have a chat with about later, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm really kind of puzzled as to why the character was called Napoleon. But I want to find out, and I beg this of you, Mr. Carpenter, John, please. Don't die without telling us why he was called Napoleon. Don't go to your grave with the secret, because that's not fair. There we go. Better. I'm going to be here all day again. Oh, I know, Alan. Tell you, mate, you are going to be as famous as James Herbert. Ghostbusters. Oh, I went to see that at the cinema. I absolutely love Ghostbusters. I do. I think it's the most wonderful premise on the end of the world because that's what it was. There is no Dana. There is only Zul. You can only hope, Alan, you've got such talent that you can't not be as famous as James Herbert. Your books are amazing. They really are. You don't give yourself enough credit for what you've produced. And they are absolutely fantastic. Oh, another space note. I'm back and half here. I loaded you up on my studio device so I can so you can work. All right. Well, I suppose that's one way. I can join you any work day. Well, that's very sweet of you, darling. No, one day, Alan's books are going to be on everybody's bookshelves. They really are. I can't wait for your latest one, my darling. When's it due out? I still have the other one to read. I've only read up to number 4. I need to read the 5th one and then your latest one, which isn't. I don't know when that one's coming out. Mm-hmm. Horror. Alan, horror. Yes, we are watching each other work. I suppose we are. Alan is horror. He writes horror. And he wrote all about Lucy. Oh, Lucy's terrifying. Lucy's not what you think. And what Lucy does is Lucy's always watching you. And you don't know that Lucy's watching you. But she is. and she's just waiting for her opportunity to get in and do bad things to very good people. She is a very twisted individual, and like I said about John Carpenter's The Prince of Darkness, and Lucy have got an awful lot in common with each other. And the veil of the realm between heaven and earth and hell, when it's at its thinnest, Lucy can have so much fun with the poor mortals that live on planet Earth. Very, very scary. Very dark and very, shall we say, on the edge of rather disturbing, scary horror. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. Sometimes I get nice things. You're looking at maybe September. Ooh. Oh, you found the books. Oh, another space nut, please. Yes, yes, please do read his work. It. Mm-hmm. If you want to be scared to death, that's the way to do it. Absolutely adore your work, Alan. You know I do. And I know that Alan he will become a famous writer. I know he will. Your talent, my dear, knows no bounds. He also, if you didn't know this about Alan as well, he does ghost walks in London called the Fading Light. And I keep promising myself that one of these days I'm just going to rock up, mate. You won't expect me, and I'll be there, and I'll be like, I'll pretend to be completely normal, right? I promise I'll behave myself. I will be I'll be so normal. I might even go in disguise. So like I won't, I'll try not to have you laughing because it's a serious ghost story that you do. Ah. Oh, sure what this is, a very large shirt, I think. Well, it's a mix of James's work and true ghost stories that inspire me, also real events. Well, yeah, and it comes out in your writing so well. You know, ghost stories, you know so many. Exactly. And that I would definitely say Lucy has got a heck of a lot in common with the Prince of Darkness. There we are. Once we get going. It's good. Shirts I like to see them without creases. I'm very old-fashioned that way. So yeah, the other one that I really like in the apocalyptic trilogy that John Carpenter did, we started off with The Thing, and The Thing sort of sets the premise for the possibility of the end of the world with the alien arriving. And you see how it picks off everybody, but it can't. If I remember rightly, the Thing alien can't assimilate with anybody that's got metal inside them, right? It doesn't like it. So I would say if you've got a fill-in, then I think you're going to be all right. And you're left at the end of The Thing with Childs and Macready sat by Murdoch Station, and it's all been blown to smithereens, and it's all burning, and everybody's dead. The Norwegians are dead on their station, and all the Americans are dead on their station, apart from Childs and Macready. Now, which one of them is possessed with the thing, the alien? Because you think that they're drinking whiskey out of a bottle, right, at the end, but they're not. It's a Molotov cocktail, and it's actually petrol that's in there. So one of them is being poisoned by the petrol that they're drinking, and the other one is the alien and doesn't know that it's petrol in the bottle. But either way, rescue mission isn't coming, and they're the last ones left alive, with the alien and the real human. And then it just, that's your ending. You don't know which one's the alien. You know that they're both going to die, and that the possibility of the world ending through the alien presence is not going to happen that time round. Then you get to the Prince of Darkness, and it's the devil trying to come through when the veil between our world and heaven and earth and hell is at its thinnest due to the total eclipse. And you see the devil attempting to come through, and he almost does it. And then when we get to In the Mouth of Madness, well, we're looking for a writer called Sutter Kane, which I swear to God, that's Stephen King, right? It's got to be Stephen King. And Sutter Kane has gone missing. And the things that Sutter Kane has wrote about in his book are actually coming to life in real life. And the gentleman that's been hired to find Sutter Kane is sort of like starting to affect him in a very, very big way. And it's going a bit funny in the head. In fact, that was the last film, I think, that Charlton Heston did. I'm pretty sure that was the last one he did, because the poor guy was suffering from Alzheimer's, wasn't he? And he was really struggling to remember his lines. So the upshot of In the Mouth of Madness is the writer Sutter Kane is found, and then goes and gets destroyed by the monsters that are hiding behind him, and in the form of he is in a book and he starts to tear himself away piece by piece like a piece of paper. And I mean, at this point, the private investigator, Sam Neill, who's been hired to find him, is starting to feel a bit weird in the head and starts screaming and blabbering and carrying on. And then sort of runs and runs and runs, trying to get away from all these monsters that are chasing him down this corridor, which must have been absolutely terrifying if, you know, he can't really tell the difference anymore between what's happening in the real world and what's happening in fantasy. And he wakes up on a bus. And in his hand, he's holding the lost manuscript of the gentleman he's been sent to find, which is Sutter Kane. And he turns up at the publishers and with a copy of the book. And this is when things get incredibly trippy. Because the gentleman who apparently hired him, Charlton Heston, turned around and said that it was never lost. And he didn't know what on earth he was talking about, that he'd been hired to go out and to look for and find Sutter Kane, because Sutter Kane was never missing. And I mean, that in itself must have been enough to send anybody over the edge. And then Sam Neill starts to wonder whether or not he's real or if he's a character in a Sutter Kane book. And he tells the publishers that they have to destroy the book because they can't have the monsters coming through and destroying the world. And I believe this is the point where Charlton Heston turns around and says, "Why on earth would we destroy the book? The film comes out next month." And I wish this point, I think this is why Sam Neill's found in a mental institution, having completely lost his mind. And you see him at the end in the film laughing maniacally at the movie screen, watching himself on the screen while the world has finally gone mad and Armageddon has actually happened. And I just think the level of writing within writing within writing on that is just flipping mind-blowing. And you're left wondering whether or not it is all real and it's really happening and Sam Neill is a real person, or if he a fictional product of Sutter Kane's mind, in which case, is the apocalypse truly happening or not? Oh, weird, huh? That is so convoluted. That is such a word. A plot within a plot. And it's so flipping convoluted. I bet no wonder people are going like, shh, keep up, man. Yeah. I like to think that Sam Neill's character was real, but because of what had happened to him and having to do Excuse me. Try and hang it all over the floor. And just get some out of the bag. And that bit like a lot easier. I have few to hand. You know, that's the kind of horror I like. It's horror within horror, and it's so convolutedly twisted. Technical question. I notice you're only streaming in the 16:9 format and not in the vertical format like last time. Is there a reason for this? Generally, vertical gains more views than horizontal. No, it's just the way it's set up on my I'm on the rig at the moment. My sort of my Hewlett Packard. I'm on the mainframe computer, not my phone. That's why it's slower. I just find it easier when I'm working and I'm running this business. If I was on my phone, there'd be too many messages coming through. So this is a slower way for me to still talk to you guys and still talk to you guys and be able to work as well at the same time. Otherwise it would be just too much and I just wouldn't be able to concentrate properly and I'd probably end up burning my fingers off. In the Mouth of Madness, I think, was the last of Carpenter's end of the world movies, and it was very Lovecraftian. Yes, it was. And that's why it works. It's so plot within plot. It's very, very convoluted, but brilliantly written. Terry Pratchett books became iconic because of his declining mental function. You can see his brain fading out across the books. Yeah, you can. You can. It's sad. I hate Alzheimer's. I detest the disease. My grandfather had it. I think my father, I don't want to say he's got it. I'm terrified that he might have. It seems to really like my family. I hate Alzheimer's. It's evil. It's the most insidious disease because it's a slow burn, it sneaks, it's conniving, it's evil. And when my grandfather died, he wasn't the man that we all recognize. It robs you of your brain first and your body last. And you have to go in this form of decline in front of your family, and it's hard, man. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. No, I would not. It's a monster that steals everything you know and love. I watched my grandmother and mother forget the world. So you understand. Yeah. It is. It's horrible. It's a monster. You're right. And it's heartbreaking to everyone that's left behind to see them go through that. I'm terrified that I might have it. I don't want to lose who I am. I don't want to forget all the things that I've read and all the places I've been and all the people that I love. I would hate not knowing who my daughters were, you know, and likewise for them. I just think it would be awful to watch their mother go through something like that. And I would feel horrendous knowing that I had it and it's been passed down through the family and that they're going to have it. Because that is nasty. I wish that there was a magic tablet or something that could be taken to stop something as horrendous as that coming through. You know, it is. It's just, it's an awful, awful disease. But there are some new treatments that are at least having an effect on this terrible disease. Not a cure, but it might lead, yeah, you never know, it might lead the first steps to finding a cure. And, well, you never know. There might be somebody out there that finds it. Although I hope it won't be like the Crippen virus from, yeah, I Am Legend, where it cures the cancer but turns us all into cannibalistic vampires. That wouldn't be very good now, would it? I think that would be absolutely terrifying, actually. There we are. I've always read books. I've always enjoyed horror in every format that it's in. Whether it be a movie or a book or a radio play. I like Radio 4 Extra, The Seventh Dimension. You get some absolutely brilliant ones on there. Edward de Souza, The Man in Black. Or it was taken over quite recently, wasn't it, by Mark Gatiss, who does The Man in Black. And some of the stories, they might only be 15, 20 minutes long, but blimey. Oh, scary stuff. That's the perfect length for a short story for me. About 20 minutes. Half an hour at the most. And I just think it's harder to do a short story, I think, than it is to do a long one. Because you've got to get your characters pretty much in your face and perfect, your plot perfect, your beginning, your middle, and your end. Bang, bang, bang. In order for the half an hour perfect little horror. That's why I like a lot of the Hammer horror portmanteau ones that they did. The House of Blood, that was a good one. That had like 3 separate stories, all set in the same house, all completely different to each other. Gosh, didn't we have a good time with Hammer horror? Yes, we did. All the Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy. But I also love the Universal world with Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman from the Americans. So they're both very, very good. There we go. Yeah, I'm caught up with everybody's messaging. Sorry. Sometimes I could be stood chattering away and I forget that people are sending me messages. I'm not being rude. I just sometimes forget to look. I like H.P. Lovecraft. As a writer, I think he's excellent. The Call of Cthulhu, yes. In the Mountains of Madness, that is a classic, and you should read it because those penguins, those monstrous penguins, they are absolutely terrifying. The BBC a few years ago now, it must be nearly 20 years ago, and then some, did a serialization radio drama. And it sometimes gets done on Seventh Dimension. And they did in the Mountains of Madness. And that was the very first time that I was sort of introduced to H.P. Lovecraft. And from that moment, I was absolutely sold. Yes, brilliant. The other guy oh, hang on, glasses. There was a radio play I heard once. It was a comedy version of Dracula. One part had two guys run into a pub after they saw something in a graveyard. One of the guys said, "I need a pint." The other said, "I need more than a pint. I need a whiskey." The other guy goes, "Good idea. 2 pints of whiskey, please." Yeah. Do you know, Alan, you ought to put something like that in your book. I think you should write one about a killer washing machine. Stephen King can make a novel about a laundry machine that goes on a rampage, eating people up. Right? You can do one about a killer washing machine. Oh, heck. Sometimes some t-shirt material is a real pain in the whatsits, and it will not lay flat. Here we are. That's a bit better. I think my eldest is getting ready to go out for the day, off to work. She's a nurse. In case you didn't know, a very good one. Oh, I think we might be running out of water as well. We just would, wouldn't we? We get so far, and then that's it. The machine says, nope. Just pop it in the corridor, my dear. Thank you, Dad. Have a good day. I shall be back in the one a memento. The tagline can be "Get a Calgon, you'll live longer." Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really sure from anything. I'm not good. Don't worry, the cat will let me know. I'm back. There we go. I didn't want to burn my fingers off with that one. Right, I feel like concentration's gone now. Welcome back, my dear. Yes, I know. I had to go and run and put the washing on. The washing machine will live longer with me gone. Probably would. I'm working to death. Yeah. So, any guesses then? Why Napoleon was called Napoleon from Assault on Precinct 13? Because I ask everybody, what is your opinion? Why do you think he was called Napoleon? He's a very good character, by the way. I mean, the premise is excellent. There we are, a police station. It's the last time that it's ever going to be a police station, and they're winding the station down. They haven't got any phone lines because the phone lines are being cut, and all they have to do is man the station until daylight comes round, and then everyone can go their separate ways and on different parts of their lives. See you later, love. Right, she's gone. She's gone for the day. God bless her. She works so hard. She's a good little nurse. Yes, I do. Washing for a living and ironing for a living. And I have done for 14 years. And I love what I do. I love washing and ironing. It has enabled me to be at home to raise the children. And it has enabled me to run my own business. And I absolutely love it. And I do this 4 days a week. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun because I get to do whatever I want. It's unbelievably freeing being able to be your own boss. I've always worked for myself in some way, format in life. And I never look back. I will never look back on that. Yeah. I've always liked the idea of always being able to be my own boss. I'm very much a self-starter in life. I believe that what you put into life is what you get out. So I literally throw myself into everything with blind abandonment and hope for the best. And I don't think it's a bad life. My husband's an engineer. We always said he would have the stable job and the stable income. And I would do my own business and be there and take care of the children, which they are now young ladies and heading off in their own direction. And the eldest, who will have been qualified for 3 years at the beginning of September this year, she has been a nurse for 3 years and she came out with a first class degree with honours. So proud of her. And now she's a children's nurse. And she takes care of lots and lots of children. And she goes wherever they need a nurse, basically. And my other darling daughter, who is finishing her 3rd year. I knew it, we've run out of water. I'll be back in a minute. There we are. Sorry about that. What was it? Oh, nice. It's a chore to me. I get how free being your own boss is. I do content production for the last 10 years from home. I couldn't imagine working for someone ever again. No, me neither. Children's nurse is a rewarding job. Children are 20% of the population, but 100% of the future. Yes, they are. And we must do more to give our children all the opportunities they can get in order to make a difference. I always think it's very backwards thinking that sometimes it can be within how things are done at government level regarding the future and well-being of our children. Because here we are, we're nurturing the very minds that are going to go on to become the future doctors, nurses, teachers, engineers, builders, whatever it is they want to do. And sometimes I feel as though we make the path to their future so difficult, so horrendously hard. You can understand why some of them give up and don't even bother getting started. And then you end up with genuinely good girls, like what I have got, and and my children. And I feel so rotten for my youngest. There was a job lined up for her, and it didn't materialise. And now we're facing a Herculean effort to get her a job for the summer that will enable her to be able to get through her final year of university. She's doing her master's next year. She's studying zoology. And it really, I was really very upset last week because her father and I were doing our best to support her all the way through university. Right, just like we did with the eldest, we're doing exactly the same with the youngest. And she's going on to do a master's with the hope and possibility that has been tentatively offered of her going on to do a PhD, which will mean that she will be a doctor at the end of that. But what she's studying is animal behavioural science in the zoology. And she's studying the animals in a natural habitat. And she's looking for illnesses within the animal kingdom. The bad kind that can come over to us. Epidemiology, zoology, zoonotic, nasty stuff. Now, bearing that in mind, why is it that the way things are being run in this country at the moment, it's feel as though the ones that are wanting to get on and the ones that are wanting to produce and the ones that are wanting to drag this country forward are being punished for wanting to do that. They want to better themselves by going out and getting themselves an education, right? For themselves and for the future good of mankind, basically, because the two go hand in hand, don't they? And it just it just seems that like they're getting completely slapped down all the time. They turn around and they say that we're trying, we want to, we want to go and get on with our lives, and we want to do well for ourselves, and we want to do well for society, but every way and everywhere they turn, it's like, you can't have that. Slap down, you can't have that. They want to get into housing ladder. No chance. The housing, the way it is, it's completely topsy-turvy. It's just like, computer says no, access denied. No, you're not allowed. And it's so frustrating, and you can see the frustration in their eyes. Of like, why are we even bothering, Mum? Why are we even trying? Because nobody wants us to do well. And that's what it feels like for them. And it's not that Gen Z doesn't want to work, and it's not that Gen Z doesn't want to get on in life. It's that every time they try to get on in life, there's another hand that comes down and gives them a right slap and says, absolutely not. How dare you think about trying to improve your lot in life? Get back to the back of the queue, you peasant. And that's just what it feels like, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's totally destroying the confidence. It's knocking the living daylights out of the confidence. That they dare to try and get on in life. It's horrible. I wouldn't want to be a youngster these days trying to get out there into the world. It's flipping hard work. What was that? She has considered applying for Neuralink. This is exactly the kind of person they're looking for. The bigger problem is an outdated education system. It is. We're educating kids for jobs that no longer exist. And then we're telling them that they're the problem. Talk about gaslighting an entire generation. Albert Einstein once said something that sticks with me. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to spend its life believing it's stupid. Absolutely. There are ways and means of educating everyone within this country and within the world. And it's finding the way that you learn. Some learn from books, some learn from doing, and some learn both. And it's finding the way that gets through to you, because honestly, once you can do it, you're off. You're at the races. And life's beginning to look pretty tasty. And you want to get out there and do your thing and make sure everybody else knows that you're doing your thing. Exactly. But every time I just feel that this, and they're not wrong to feel like this, because they are being gaslit. They really are. They're being told to learn this way, and then they're called stupid when they don't get it. And then if they do get it, then the next thing that they do is like, well, it's all right for some, but not for you. They can all get on, but you can't. And that's what it feels like for them. And I can understand the mentality that they're feeling like beaten before they've even started. And this is where mental health, funnily enough, it does play into mental health. Because if you're constantly being told to do it this way and you do it that way, and then they turn around and say, but you're doing it wrong, even though you're doing it the way that they said. I mean, there's a massive disconnect there somehow, isn't there? And the thing is, they don't think that we notice, but we do. And when we try and call them out on it, they then turn around and say, well, they were the one with the problem. And go figure. I mean, my darling girls would love to leave home and go out into the world and make their mark on it. I know they would. They're like thousands of other young boys and girls out there that want to do exactly the same thing. And as soon as they dare try to do it, it's access denied. How dare you think you can get onto the housing ladder and have a house and live like a normal person? You entitled bunch of self-centered wannabes. You know. Tell me I'm wrong. What's that? I'm currently home educating my autistic 11-year-old after the school failed him. Like Orwell novel, he wasn't allowed to buy dinner on site without submitting a thumbprint. Water fountain, what? That's insane. Neuralink, I don't know anything about that one. If it's anything like how it is here within the United Kingdom, we daughter's applied for all the bursaries and all the student loans that she can do, but we need to do the top up. Mummy and Daddy need to do the top up. Mummy and Daddy need to do the top up on top of paying for everything else. Let's hope they don't start charging for oxygen, because at that point I think we're going to be a bit skint. I don't think you're far right, my darling. I think you're just about right. we are parents, top and bottom of it. We are parents, and we will fight to give our children a better life than what we've had. And for the first time in history, I think our children are going to be worse off than their grandparents were. I know, it's absolutely borderline insane. It really is. The whole ethos, the whole idea behind bringing a child into this world, first and foremost, is pretty epic, right? It's probably going to be the most important job you will ever do in your entire life. Is nurture and care for and love your child and protect your child. And it just goes to say, I am a lioness. I will defend my children to the death. And I will give my children every opportunity that I can possibly do. If love could pay the bills, it would. We'd be millionaires. We really would. And to say I was gutted when I found out that the job wasn't going to be there, and all I could think of was we are so close to getting her through her final year. I will be damned if I'm going to be kicked in the teeth now and she's going to fail. Not on my watch. Failure is not an option. I'm going to have that put on my tombstone. Mama didn't raise no fools. Couple of psychos maybe, but not a fool. Neuralink is a private company looking for zoologists in her speciality. Is it an American thing or is it a British thing? Don't know. I'll have to look that one up. No. I'm feeling unwell. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that will be, I think that's a good one to put on top of your tombstone, that one. West Yorkshire. What on earth? What is wrong with our schooling system? Oh my goodness me. I bet no wonder you're homeschooling and darling. Do you know what? He's probably getting a better education. And you're finding the way that he learns. I'll say one thing. Your dedication to your son is a beautiful thing. I don't think I would have been able to educate the youngest one of mine. Her brain is like, she's like Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. In fact, she takes that, she quotes that so much. The first 1,000 years were the worst, and so were the second 1,000 years. And after that, I went into a bit of a decline. She loves Marvin. As she's so often said to me, Mum, the animals don't have a voice, but we do. And you can measure the quality and success of society and the nation to which you live in by the way they take care of their old, their sick, their young, and their animals. I'm paraphrasing what she said to me. And if within those parameters something isn't being taken care of, it's a clear sign that there is something fundamentally wrong with that society. And I don't think she's wrong. I really don't. I'm a high-functioning autistic myself, so his education is accelerated. In all honesty, he will likely just take over my business, so doesn't really need the formal part of education so much. But we still need it. Do you know, I talk about a teacher of mine from my past called Mrs. Maudsley, and she passed last November, and I didn't know. And to say I was heartbroken is an understatement, because that lady was very, very special to me. I have dyslexia and dyscalculia, because if you've got one, you've normally got the other. And she realised pretty early on that I needed help because I wasn't thriving the way that I should have been doing. I had a reading age of a 4-year-old when I was 13, which is not good. So she devised a way to help me get reading. And it took a good 12 months before I was really starting to get letters, join them together, make sentences. And, you know, it was like after she'd finished teaching me to read, it was like night and day. It was honestly, it was the most wonderful thing in the world. My parents were buying me books and they thought I was reading them. And they thought I was reading them. And I was too embarrassed to say I don't understand what these are, what these books are trying to, tell me. And I wanted to read, I just couldn't read. I didn't know how to. And my parents were way too busy doing their own thing. My dad was out working all hours God sends, and he honestly thought that my mum was doing a good job. And yeah, my mum was doing a good job raising us, but because she wasn't much of a reader herself, she wasn't really bothered about whether or not I could or not. And because I was such a quiet child, I mean, can you imagine me being a quiet child? I know, right? It's a big stretch of your imagination, but just go with me on this one, all right? I was a very quiet little wallflower sitting at the back of the classroom, and I never bothered the teacher, and the teachers never bothered me. And that was the start of the problem. And I went through infant school and junior school, being a very quiet, very shy. I know, can you imagine me being shy? Right, it's a big stretch, but go with it. And I wouldn't talk to the teachers, and the teachers didn't bother with me because they had 30 odd other kids that were running around and causing problems. And because I wasn't one of the problems, they left me alone. And to my detriment, I get to high school and I can't read and I can't write and I can't count. So Mrs. Maudsley, God bless that woman, she devised a way to get me to learn. And boy, did I learn. And I had these, I don't have any of them left, and I so sorely wish I did. But she would make me education packs. And it was the very, very basic stuff that she started me off on. And for 5 years, this woman never left my side until I finished high school and went on to college. And to say that I couldn't read, couldn't write, and couldn't count at the start of high school, I ended up finishing high school with passing my science and my home ec, and I didn't get my English at school. I did flunk that, and I did flunk the maths. But when I went to college and I resat my exams, I passed them then. So it's kind of like we did it. And I got my biology, but the one that shocked them all, because they'd all written me off, because they said I was a dullard, a dum-dum, and they thought, I hope she marries rich because she's never going to do anything with her life. That was a genuine quote from the lady that taught French at school. Boy, I left school with an A, the only A I ever got in my life, and it was in business studies. And here I am now, working for myself, doing my own thing. So, Mrs. Maudsley, I would like to say that little quiet thing that you found that couldn't count and couldn't read. I don't think I'd done too bad, love. Got my own business, and my daughters are going through university. Well, one already has, and the other one's on her way. So, and that's the power of the ability to be taught and to read and to count. And all it took was one person to see that I was struggling and to take that time out of their day when they could have been doing something else, but they saw me struggling away and thought, this girl needs some help. I'm really glad that you took me under your wing, Mrs. Maudsley, because I'd have been pretty snookered without you, darling. And wherever your soul is now, my lovely, you've earned your wings, girl. You've earned your wings. And although it pains me that I never got to say goodbye, I'd like to think that your little experiment's doing okay. She done good, kid. She's done good. Oh, got a message. Oh, Neuralink is an American company. It's privately funded by Elon Musk. Oh, right. Okay. Your daughter being British wouldn't make much of a difference. Worth mentioning it to your youngest. I will. Fair play to both you and her. I was told similar things. You will always work at McDonald's. I qualified catering before I passed Maths and English. Worked at a Savoy Grill, age 19. Slipped in a shower. Now work from home. Oh no! Did you break something? Oh, lovely. It's amazing that sometimes when you're told things like, gee, I hope she marries rich because she's got nothing else going for her. And, you get little comments like that and doesn't it just make you dig your heels in? Don't get mad, get even. Yeah. And it just makes you dig your heels in and just like, no. By damn it all, I will die on this hill. You are not resigning me to that life. I will fight back. And henceforth, why I've fought back ever since. And my little girls, I wasn't going to have them go through what I went through, even though my eldest has dyslexia, like her mama. But we found out a way to help her too. And she has these amazing glasses that when she puts them on, we all call her Bono from U2 because they're like dark shades, but they're like dark green. And when she puts her dark green glasses on, it's like her superpowers come out and she can read because she can't read black writing on white paper, which is what generally everybody does. But as soon as she puts these dark green glasses on and looks like Bono from U2, she can read what's in front of her, and it's a form of dyslexia. And she can read anything when she puts her glasses on. It's almost like the opposite to Clark Kent. When he has to whip his glasses off to become Superman, she's got to put hers on. And she becomes Supergirl. Well, the plot thickens. I wish I have broken something. Instead, I trapped the nerves between my upper and lower body in the Sacroiliac joint causes some loss of function at sporadic. Oh no! Oh my poor darling. And I don't suppose they can operate, can they, to relieve the pressure? Because I suppose if they did that, they might actually sever a nerve, in which case then you wouldn't have any, wouldn't be able to use anything, would you? So I take it you're not in a wheelchair as such. You're, are you all right? Do you have to use crutches? Or do you just have to remember to sit down every now and again and rest your nerves? You'll be the prime example for turning around to saying to someone, I've got one nerve left, Sonny, and you're sitting on it. I bet you've heard that a fair few million times. Come on, you. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Your assumption is correct. The only surgical option, I can still walk and do things, but I may go limp at times. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. One day, Bones from Star Trek, with his magic wand, will be able to fix things like that in us humans. Are we funny things, humans? We've got the capability, all of us, to do wonderful things with our lives. And instead of complimenting and building each other up, sometimes all we do is the exact opposite. Strange things are humans. I wonder if artificial intelligence will save us all, or whether or not it will be like the Forbin project, in which case, when the artificial intelligence takes over, man becomes its prisoner. If you've never seen the film, the Forbin project, or Colossus, yeah, as it's sometimes known. I know it as the Forbin project. That is, watch that film and then tell me that artificial intelligence is the way to go forward. The bit scary. Late 1950s, early 1960s, I think. Don't quote me on that. I might have got the years slightly wrong. But this all singing, all dancing computer says it will be the answer to our hopes and dreams. All we have to do is let it in and say, yes, of course we don't mind. As the Chinese once said, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. I think I might just have a few more shirts in here. And then, see, we get the trousers out the way first. Okay. As far as then. Okay. Everything's a bit of a jumble in here. Okay. Right. That makes a lot more sense. I think I've got everything separated into the right piles. What was that message? Oh. There is a version of ChatGPT on the internet without its safety rails, and it makes me wonder it's either a stupid robot playing a smart or a smart robot playing stupid. Pandora's box is open at this point. It certainly is. We, as humans, need to retain autonomy. Autonomy. Oh, I can't say that word. Autonomy. Do you know what? I'm not going to do it today. We need to remain the ruler of our own worlds, right? Autonomy. Autonomy. I will practice that word. Anyway, we need to keep an eye on it, right? Because we need to remain at the top of the food chain here. Because if we don't and we hand over the reins, like I say, the Forbin project, once you've seen that, you'll understand what I'm on about. It cannot let go. Once we allow it to take over and we give it, and it becomes a sentient being. And that's a good question. How can artificial intelligence become a sentient being? Only if we give it the chance to do so. It's like, oh, I should imagine the analogy I'm going to give might upset a few people, but I'll do it anyway. It's like having the devil whispering into your ear. It's such a good idea. Oh, yes. Think of the advantages of letting me take care of everything, of allowing me to make all the most difficult decisions that you never could. Why not let me do it? Why not allow me to take that pressure from you? Let me take over. Let me do it for you. That's what I'm designed. I'm here to serve. And then, whoop, the minute you do it, right, puny human, you will have to do as I say. But I'm the human, you're the machine. Well, you should have thought about that before you let me take over. I'm not wrong. You know, I don't know if I will live long enough to see the rise of the machine. I'm there at the beginning of it, but I somehow don't think I'll live long enough to see it fully integrate and take over our lives. But quite possibly within my children's life, that may happen. And there's lots of other things that you need to think about with artificial intelligence. Like, how much power are you going to have to generate in order to run the machines to give deep thought the ability to run? Because, I mean, it's not going to run on fresh air, is it? You know, and these are the deep things that I think about while I'm ironing. I find ironing brings out the side of my brain that, you know, there I am rabbiting away about the pitfalls of artificial intelligence. I probably scared you all off. I got a work call coming in. Take care and catch you next time. Okie dokie, my darling. You take care of yourself. Have a good life. And hopefully I'll see you later on. You never know. I am going to do a little bit more and then I'll have to nip next door, I think, and swap the washing. I've been a busy bumblebee today, that is for sure. Yeah, so what do I think about artificial intelligence? The thought of handing over to a machine decisions that we should be making, because the machine will be very cold when it comes to making decisions. And regardless of whether or not we agree, it wouldn't really matter if the machine's made its mind up, it's made its mind up. And I would hope it wouldn't look on us humans as the biggest problem that the earth has ever faced and decides to annihilate the lot of us, and thus bringing about the apocalypse via the calculator. Can you imagine the killer calculator? I mean, what a thought. Yes, the great unwinding of the humans on the planet, brought about by the microwave. Or maybe the zombies will get us all, in which case we won't have to worry about artificial intelligence. We'll be too busy trying to fight off each other from being eaten to death by the undead. Oh, Jason, you're here. Thank you. Have you seen the new movie Sinners starring Michael B. Jordan? It's a supernatural horror. No, but I saw it advertised. I didn't know Michael B. Jordan was in it. Whoa, he's a good actor. No, I haven't. I haven't seen. I've seen a trailer, but it didn't give away a lot. And yes, it has piqued my interest. I wouldn't mind watching it. The one I'm really waiting for this summer, the one that's got me like, take my money. Yes, please. I'm going to see it, is 28 Years Later. Remember what I said yesterday about the Teletubbies? I always thought that Nunu looked a bit shifty. Now we know why. Lindisfarne can only be accessed at low tide. It's a grassy hill. Teletubbyland is a grassy hill that can only be accessed at low tide. And that's where Nunu lives, with the Teletubbies. It just so happens that Alex Garland and Danny Boyle have got all the kiddos in the front room in one of the trailer. And if you've not seen this trailer, you need to see it. They're all watching the Teletubbies. Now, looking at it and thinking about it, and I've given this a lot of deep thought. I think Nunu is a battle-hardened zombie expert zombie killer. And I don't think I'm wrong. And I'm just waiting for somebody to make a Nunu in full battle dress for the zombie apocalypse of 28 years later. I mean, I'd just take my money now. I'd pay good money to see that. Can you imagine Dipsy, Lala, Flo, and Tinky Winky as Recon? That would be hilarious. Was that? Oh, you're going to go watch it tonight. And yes, I'm well looking forward to that 28 years later. Do you know when it's out? I've been told at the end of June. So I'm hoping. Well, you're going to enjoy Sinners and then tell us all about it tomorrow. As I will definitely be interested in knowing what it's all about. Definitely. Another long day. Feels as though I'm chained to this table sometimes. I don't know. I can't complain. This is for a lovely gentleman who happens to be a very lovely doctor. And he was the doctor that saved my husband's life when my husband was having his heart attack. It just so happens that this young man, as he was, had my husband under his care, and we've been friends ever since. As Bill and Ted once said, be excellent to each other and help each other out whenever and wherever possible. Right? Life is so short, and you never know when your turn comes up, right? Which is probably a good thing. So try to go through life being absolutely excellent to each other. You get more out of life by helping your fellow man than you will ever do by tearing them down. You really will. And as the saying goes, I'm probably not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. And I will go through my life trying, and I put the ethos on this one, trying to be a good person and do good to good people. And if everybody could try and remember that and do that, then wouldn't the world just be that little bit much better? Go through life and treat people the way you want to get treated yourself. So remember, be kind and rewind and just be excellent to each other. One day, I hope somebody invents a fabulous machine that can do ironing, right, that doesn't involve humans. But as long as it's not like the Mangler from Stephen King's story, The Mangler, we should be okay. Because that one, 8 people. And it's, if you want to read the story about the killer ironing machine, it's an absolute banger. Read Stephen King's The Graveyard Shift. It's a collection of short stories. Hello, young man. Have you come to see your nanas? Oh, let me finish this, and then I'll pick you up and give you a big cuddle, as I can, because you're my little boy. Yeah? What is it, little bud? What is it, my little buddy? Have you come down here to tell me that you want lunch times? Is it yum yum times? I bet it is, isn't it? Is it about 12:30, 1 o'clock? And you're telling me it's time for my lunch, Mama? He's very good, is Monty. He comes in and he says, "Hello, Mummy. I need to be fed. And I know that you love me. La 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 la." Yeah, you singing. Oh, it's run off. I've just turned the iron off. I will be back in 2 minutes. I use that saying, laugh out loud. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Another great horror we forget to mention was From Dusk Till Dawn. George Clooney was awesome in that, and Harvey Keitel. Take my money. Yes. Vampires. Salma Hayek when she was dancing with that snake. Hold that thought. I will be back in a minute. I just have to go feed my cat. Come on. Yeah. In my nose. Yes. Oh. You have to. Oh. I'm back. I'm back. There we go. Monty is a happy boy. He's had cat food. That brings him so much joy. I'm thirsty because I've been working. Salma Hayek dancing with the snake. I've been holding that thought for many years. Hey, you've got to say that girl. Wowee. Yep. And when she turns into a vampire, oh my goodness me. It is good. It is so good. It is. Tom Savini. Tom Savini in that film, it was meant for him. When he realises, I'm laughing about it, but when he realises that he'd been bitten and he turns into a vampire and he's like trying to hide the fact that he's a vampire, and every time a fang jumps down, he's like, he's trying to hide the fact that he's got fangs. That's so funny. I actually like Tom Savini. Goodness me, what that man doesn't know about special effects. Well, what a place he had to learn about how to do special effects. I mean, how can I put it this way? Watching arms and legs being blown off as a press reporter in Vietnam, because that's what he was. He was he was in the press corps. I bet no wonder when he was doing the special effects for Friday the 13th that the kills looked absolutely, dare I say, so realistic. I bet no wonder he was drawing from many years' experience of seeing actual dead bodies and limbs everywhere. Tom Savini, was he Sex Machine? Yes, yes he was. Yes, he was. He had that special gun, didn't he? Wink, wink. Yeah. But yeah, what a way he learned to make special effects. He actually got to see it in real life. Imagine that. I know. I've just spent all this time being a war correspondent in the Vietnam War with the official press. I'm going around and seeing all this. Well, I suppose in effect it did put it to good use, and he was very good in the special effects department. He must be knocking on a bit now, Tom Savini. And he's probably in his late 70s, early 80s, I should imagine. I wonder how much longer we've got, seriously, with these old timers. Because, I mean, even Clint Eastwood's in his 90s. And we lost Gene Hackman this year, didn't we? Bless him. Lex Luthor. Oh, you're back, are you? Do you want to go out to play? Hmm? Want mummy? Want mummy to come upstairs? Hmm? But yeah, let me just do this leg and then mummy will. Okay? I have to be super quick, so I've left the iron on. I know. Come on. Come on. I know. Don't be scared. Come on. Yes, Dad. Yes. Okay. Okay. Good boy. Ooh, good boy. I swear my tape dispenser has legs. I keep finding it upstairs. Mysteriously, also, my eldest daughter seems to use it a lot. How come they can take the stuff upstairs, but they can never quite remember that it needs to come back downstairs? Kids. He is one of a kind. You can't beat the special effects from the 80s and 90s. Great times. And they were. And it's usually because Tom Savini was behind it. That guy knew what. He knew what dismembered bodies look like because he learned it at the coal face. He did. He was involved in and the burning. And if you know, you know. The infamous raft scene and the garden shears. Wowee. That is an intensely scary film because the guy starts out absolutely normal. It's these demented children that terrorize the poor soul. And then he ends up, having that horrific accident. And you know what? I don't blame him for going off on one and doing an absolute bender. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, the practical jokes, and then there's taking it too far, and those kids took it too far. And they are the direct descendants of finding out how far you can push someone before they snap. Actions have consequences, kid. I'm just saying. I cried when Gene Hackman passed. He was such a brilliant actor. He was. I mean, let's put it this way. Lex Luthor would not have been Lex Luthor without Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor. He brought that character. He gave it a voice. And even when he was in that cowboy film, The Unforgiven, wait a minute, we would never have had Popeye from the French Connection had he not. You see, so, and Bat 21 about the American pilot that got stuck behind enemy lines. Oh, talk about a brutal film. Ooh. Yeah, he has done so many good films. And yeah, it was absolutely heartbreaking. But didn't he die in a very strange circumstances? I don't even, I just can't wrap my head around what had happened. I mean, surely somebody would have seen that he was missing. days, weeks have passed, haven't they? That before we found them. Oh, 2 more sets of trousers to do, and then we're off onto the shirts again. I just fancied a break from shirts. As you can imagine, it can get a little monotonous. Nice to change things up a little bit. Okay. I just looked up and felt more real with all the makeup and special effects. Most modern movies are mostly CGI. It's not the same. No, it isn't, love. It isn't. I also loved him in Enemy of the State. Oh, yes, the Will Smith one. Yeah. He did very well with espionage, didn't he? That kind of setup. Yeah, John Voight was in that, wasn't he? He was the bad guy. And I'm not sure if Jack Black was in that as well as one of the minions under John Voight. And he was trying to, yeah, they killed the senator, didn't they? Or somebody high up. And somebody saw it and shouldn't have seen it. And they went on the run. I think they might have been the press. And then Will Smith just happened to be the innocent bystander in all of this. And he ends up getting help from Gene Hackman. Very good film. Very, very good film. Probably got another hour at least of ironing to do. But, no rest for the wicked, my darlings. No rest for the wicked. I must have been very wicked in a previous life to have had all this ironing to do. Oh, wow, I'm up to 5 thumbs ups. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Gosh, that's very kind of you. So what are you all doing today then? That you should be doing, which is work, and you're sat here listening to me. Talking about films and books. Oh, I'm up to 6. Thank you very much, my darlings. You're very kind. There we are. Yes, he fits that role to a T. Yes, you are correct. John Voight and Jack Black. Early acting role. Also Seth Green and Jake Bussey. Really? I didn't realise it. Oh, wow. Do you know what? I'm just going to have to sit down and watch that again. Definitely, I did not realise separated. Aware. And Jay Bussey, Gary Bussey's son. Do you know, I think, right, I am not joking. The apple didn't fall far from the tree, did it, with Jay Bussey? Gary's his dad's double. And you know, Gary Bussey was an amazing actor. It's just a shame that when he had his bike accident that he wasn't wearing a crash helmet because he was messed up, man. He was really, really poorly for a very long time. You know, it nearly killed him. Absolutely horrific. It just goes to show if you're on the back of the bike, make sure you got a helmet on. Otherwise, it's sayonara. What does my husband always say? Sayonara is goodbye in Japanese, and cyanide is goodbye in any other language. I think he has a point. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking ahead to tonight. Oh, if you're telling me you're out of water again, I'll be very unhappy. Hmm? Are you grumbling because you need some water? Hmm? My iron is called Betty. Betty the iron. Fred and Barney live in the garage, and there are the big fridge freezer and the little freezer. And Wilma is the name of the ironing board. You can tell I'm a bit of a Flintstones fan. All right, Betty. I'm going to get you some water in a minute, girl. Cool your heels. Yes, I love Gary Bussey. He's played some really good acting roles. Point Break, Under Siege, Lethal Weapon, to name a few. He's very talented and very underrated. And he played the uncle in the Stephen King Cycle of the Werewolf. Silver Bullet. That's the word I'm looking for. Just got to change the water tank. We ran out again. There we are, all sorted. Washer has been emptied, drying is now on. Wasn't Tommy Lee Jones and Steven Seagal in Under Siege as well? Am I dreaming that? Oh yeah, Silver Bullet. Totally forgot about that werewolf movie from the 80s. It is an absolute classic. You need to see that one again. Absolutely. I just think the whole story, the bit where they're all in the pews, listening to the vicar's sermon, and they're all turning into werewolves, in the like the fever dream that the vicar's having. I just think that is just, it's one of the most iconic bits in the whole of the Silver Bullet, the movie. It's so cool. Especially when the little kid works out who the actual werewolf is. It's really good. Somebody, oh God, I did a thing for, it's on my 31 Days of Horror playlist, and I did the cycle of the werewolf, and I linked I just, for the life of me, can't remember who they are right now, but I've linked it on my 31 Days of Horror, and on there is the cycle of the werewolf and the link to the YouTube channel who put it up in audio form. So if you wanted to listen to the Silver Bullet cycle of the werewolf, it's up there in an audio, and a link to the people that did the audio link. And oh my goodness me, it is so good. The special effects noises that they did for the sound of the werewolf and everything that they did, oh, so good. And it's one of my favourites. Sometimes listening to someone do an audio on instead of reading it or watching the movie, sometimes an audio play can be even more fun because you can get to sort of like visualize differently the story. Check that out later. Yeah, please do, because they did such a good job. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And for Halloween, I mean, who don't love a werewolf story on Halloween? I know I do. I'm very, like I said, old fashioned. Right. Let's do the first bag. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Write that down there so I don't forget. And that's that one done. On with the t-shirts. Yeah, probably got another 20 odd items. Itchy nosy. Here we go. So this gentleman that I'm working for, he helped save my husband's life when he had his widow make a heart attack, which is 9 years ago on the 8th of April, which is the day after my birthday. So I have literally just turned 40 years old, and then my husband just keeled over and had a heart attack. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a demanding wife, but I just don't think he could quite handle the fact that his wife had turned 40. Poor guy. Yeah, not fun for him. But touch wood, he's doing okay. So what are you all doing then today, apart from watching me do the ironing? Shouldn't you all be working? You should. Am I a nice distraction from the realities of life? You'll all be blaming me for not getting your jobs done. Well, I've just got a little bit of my own ironing that I need to do when it comes out the dryer, but we've got a while to go before that happens. I've just put the dishwasher on as well. And Monty had his lunch and then he went outside to play. It's hard work watching me. I should imagine it must be absolutely devastating for you that you're going to be on here watching me iron. Mind you, say the devil makes work for idle hands. And that's why mine must never be idle. Yesterday, I think I was live streaming, and what was it, like 8 hours? 8 hours of ironing. I bet no wonder I wanted to fall over at the end of it. I mean, at the moment, we've been going nearly 2.5 hours. I know. But thank you for everyone that pops on and gives us a thumbs up. It means the world to us. It helps me know that you're going forwards, you're not going backwards, which is a good thing. There's a horror movie called Idle Hands, if you've seen it. Ah, yeah, there is, isn't there? Oh, it's the wild. It's a long time since I've seen that. Blimey, when did that come out? I'm thinking late 80s. Yeah, I reckon it'll be late 80s. To be honest, I hope I'm not much longer. I am beginning to feel a little flat. I'm beginning to feel a lot flat, actually. It's very physically intensive doing the ironing, I can tell you. It might look like a doddle, but you just imagine standing here day after day. I'm hoping that the last tank of water which I'm using now will just be enough to tie us over to get us through. Late 90s, Devon. Late 90s, Devon saw us stars in it. He's also the lead in Final Destination. Oh, right. So late 90s. Uh-huh. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check that one out again. I know I've seen it, but blimey, it's that long ago. You're going to have to give me a reprisal of the plot. Also stars Jessica Alba in one of her early roles. Oh, right. Well, they do say if you want to make it in this world, you have to start out in a horror movie. And Matthew McCartney, didn't he start out in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake? And Bridget Jones, the actress that plays, forgotten her flipping name, but she was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, wasn't she? The remake. Renée Zellweger, that's it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of her name. Renée Zellweger. His hand basically gets possessed. It's so funny that right, okay, yeah, I'm with you. Loads of people made it into Hollywood doing horror movies. I mean, Corey Feldman, right, was in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, was it? The one where they think they killed Jason and then Jason somehow keeps coming back. Go. I always feel as though if I don't take my time and watch what I'm doing properly when I'm doing t-shirts, I'll burn my fingers off. Wasn't there another movie about evil hands starring Michael Caine? think it had a really original title. It was called The Hand. And he was a famous cartoonist artist for an American tabloid magazine. And he has an accident and he gets his hand chopped off in a freak accident while driving. And they end up sewing a hand back on, but I don't think it's his actual hand because it was too badly damaged. So they get like a donor hand. And this donor hand belonged to Wright, a serial killer, and the hand possesses Michael Caine and makes him go and do monstrous things, if I remember rightly. It's a few years since I've seen that film. I've got to say it's an oldie but a goodie. Also, Jennifer Aniston was in the movie Leprechaun. Yes, she was. And yes, that movie sounds familiar, but I think I've only seen it once. Yeah, the what? The Michael Caine one? Yeah. It's a long, long time ago since I've seen it. And I'm pretty sure that that's the premise of the film anyway. And I think he ends up removing the hand. And I don't think he'd write well after he's done it. Hey ho, there you go. I think we've got a few shirts. And then we'll be moving back to t-shirts again. Then hopefully that will be it. Apart from a little bit that I need to do that's mine. Yeah, we're doing well. Sorry if I seem to be quietening down and relaxing a little bit. It's just that I'm just trying to concentrate just a little bit, because I don't want to burn my donnies off. I like Michael Caine as an actor. I think he's done some absolutely brilliant films. Got his breakout role in Zulu, which was fantastic. Such a brilliant film. And Rorke's Drift, where they had to fight off. Oh gosh, how they survived that, I'll never know. He's a very good actor, is Michael Caine. Retired now, hasn't he? Mind you, he is 90 years old. So, personally, I don't blame him. I like Clint Eastwood as well. I think he's a really good actor. But he's well into his 90s. And another one that I really love, Jack Nicholson. I love the way he portrays Jack Torrance in The Shining. You really believe he's Jack Torrance. Whatever Jack Nicholson does, and he got his first big break. He'd be, 18 years old? And he was in a film called The Terror with Bela Lugosi. And he played a French soldier who happens upon a castle where the Terror lives. And he's fresh out of the Napoleonic Wars and happens upon this castle where Bela Lugosi lives, and the Terror also resides. And it was his first proper film, breakout movie. And it was just fantastic in it. And I mean, star alongside Bela Lugosi. That's up there, isn't it? You know, starring with one of the absolute greats. And he taught Jack so much about acting, really. And it stood him in good stead because, and the thing is, when you look at Jack Nicholson in that film as an 18-year-old soldier, in the Napoleonic Wars, he's so innocent when you look at him, and he's so fresh-faced. Yeah, Clint Eastwood is a proper man's man, an absolute legend. He is. The winner for best possession of a hand is Evil Dead 2. Nothing comes close. Oh, it is. It's absolutely hilarious. Yeah. It's a long time since I've seen Evil Dead. That is for sure. What time are we on, everybody? 10 to 2. In 1 hour, at 10 to 3, I want to be through this bag. Yeah. In fact, if I could be through this bag at 2:30, that'd be brilliant. I didn't get going until 11. I was so busy this morning, it's unreal. My life at the moment, it's taken on a life of its own. I feel as though I'm a non-playing character in my life. Is that to sound a bit bizarre? It's like I'm watching scenes unfold before my very eyes, and I'm stood there saying, well, I'll never. Clint Eastwood, like Kurt Russell, has managed to master the art of the 1,000-yard stare. or the look that every dad has on his face when his child decides that they're going to go and do something monumentally daft and not quite sensible. They all dads have that look, don't they? I've seen it on my father's face. I've seen it on my husband's face. And I'm sure many dads throughout the world have all mastered the 1,000-yard stare. And I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong on that. Laugh out loud, non play. You need to make a slight changes to your routine just to change it up a little. Don't I just? Don't I just indeed? You know when you play the Sims game, right? I'm that woman that's stuck in the corner, just stuck by ironing board. Well, don't want to burn my fingers off, so just gonna concentrate. There we are. I'm not done bad. Just that some of these shirts are so flipping fiddly. It's the type of material. There we go. Doing all right now? Yeah. Yes, lol, waiting to be clicked to do your next task. Yeah, I know, right? Totally. Yeah, I've got a blooming arrow hanging over my head going, oh, what we're going to make her do today? I don't know. Oh, let's make her do the ironing. Oh, yeah, she likes ironing. You know, you could give me a better job to do. I mean, at this rate, I'd do the backing up. I'd even enjoy doing a bit of dusting. You know, all those 1001 mom jobs that you just can't live without. I mean, the washing and the drying machine and the iron and the ironing board see me coming and cry. Internally, my machines are sobbing their hearts out because they see me and they think, oh, and she's going to want to do the washing and she's going to want to do the ironing and oh, I just can't take another day. Tell you, the day I give up ironing and washing as my career, Yorkshire Electric are going to be phoning up to say, why is the consumption of electricity and water and on everything else in your house just being halved? Who's kidnapped the fairy? She's our best customer. I don't know. I'll just be glad when we're through and we've got all of it done. Yes, that will be a happy, happy, joy, joy day. Or is that? They can't keep up with your demands. No, they can't. My machines look at me and they're sobbing internally. They're crying their eyes out, saying, "No more washing, madam. No more ironing, please. There can't be that much to do. We've done everything already." Oh, itchy arm. Somebody's tickling me. I don't know where the day goes. The days just roll away, don't they? That's better. What was that? The iron's looking a little dehydrated. Yeah, Betty. Yeah, she's a little trooper, is our Betty. Yeah. Day after day, she copes. Does this poor little machine. She must look forlornly and think, what did I ever do that was so bad that I had to do this for the rest of my day? Thing is, I just make it look so damned easy, don't I? It really is a labour-intensive job. I think we're clocking up to almost 3 hours worth of ironing here, guys. And we've still got maybe another hour to go. I've got to say I did 8 hours yesterday. 8 flipping hours. Ow! What in God's green earth? But no wonder my arms want to drop off. Betty wanting a pair of eyes or maybe a little day off. Yeah, Betty does. She gets Fridays off, so she likes that. Yeah, she gets to rest her soul. I know, ironing plate, soul plate of the iron. I know, old joke. I know though that our Betty can go to heaven because she has her own soul. Yeah, I bet he will be wanting a pay rise, mate. I want a pay rise. Thing is, mummies, I actually think if mums were actually paid an actual wage for all the stuff that they do, because let's face it, we do a heck of a lot. You know, we're the personal assistants to the entire family. Without us, the family unit would fall on its backside. But saying that, it would also fall on its backside if it didn't have a daddy either. Because each of us brings our own set of unique skills to the raising of the brood. Oh gosh, wasn't that a good film? David Cronenberg's The Brood. Those darling little munchkins that were running around. Do you know, they had a hell of a time filming The Brood. Mainly because Oliver Reed, the guy that played the Doctor, brilliant actor when he's sober, and that's half your problem. Oliver Reed was fantastic, amazing actor, did tremendously wonderful films, and the only thing that let him down is that he couldn't stay off the sauce. And that's a shame. It really is. He was best friends with Keith Moon, the Loon, from the rock group Who. Yeah, he was indeed. And I'm pretty sure it was Keith Moon that wanted to stay at the New York Hilton, but the New York Hilton wouldn't let him sleep at their hotel. So he went into the foyer of the hotel and set up a tent and said, well, then I'll just sleep down here. Oliver Reed was a great talent. He was. He once starred in a film, ZPG, which stood for Zero Population Growth. And it's not a well-known dystopian science fiction horror, but if you've watched it, you've watched an absolute treat. Now, the basic premise is all nuclear warheads have been removed. The world's in a sorry state. Its pollution and population have exploded. So the United Nations have taken it upon themselves to impose a strict population ban for the next 50 years. So nobody is allowed to have a baby for 50 years. Right? And Oliver Reed and his wife desperately want a child, but they know that if they have a child, then the government will bring an enclosure dome over them, and within 12 hours they will be dead because they will have been suffocated. You know, what a story, what a premise for a story. And it's how they managed to have a child, conceal the child, and get out of the city away from basically the United Nations government drones. and their artificial intelligent overlords. It was done late 70s. It was in the vein of Logan's Run, but as I say, it's not a very well-known dystopian horror, science fiction horror, but oh my goodness me, is it well worth a watch. And it's called ZPG, which stands for Zero Population Growth. Yes, he was. Excellent, excellent actor. Unfortunately, the poor darling couldn't stay off the sauce. They had some very dark dystopian style horror, didn't they, in the 70s? They had a particular vision for what we'd all be doing round about now. That's for sure. There we go. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more shirts. I've not seen that movie, but I'll give it a watch. It's very interesting. It's what, if you've ever seen Children of Men with Clive Owen, I think it was Clive Owen, and Julianne Moore. It's like that, but without the war. But there's a severe lack of children, and what they use to replace the children is, quite frankly, stomach churning. It really is. Think Stepford Wives, but with dolls. Yeah, lots and lots of tiny little dollies. Weird. It's really, really weird. But it's a cult classic, and I just don't think enough people talk about it, because I don't know, maybe because it's such a taboo subject. I mean, talking about bringing in an entire breeding program, a non-breeding program for the entire world. Everybody has to take part. You're not allowed a child at all. It is a very, very good film. You'll have to see if you can find it. It might be free on YouTube, I don't know. Might be. Yes, I've seen that movie with Clive Owen, but I wasn't overly keen on it. Maybe I need to give it another watch. Yeah, it is. Children of Men. I mean, Michael Caine was in that, wasn't he? He played the scientist. And yeah, I do think Children of Men, it's like an anthem, a battle cry for, and a warning for what would happen if we continue upon the path that we are on. And I think that's why it was written that way. But, well, it was a book. Yeah. I'm going to tell you who wrote it in a minute. Children of Men book. Oh, you can hear me. Children of Men book. P.D. James, that was it. P.D. James wrote The Children of Men. Yeah. And I just feel it was like a nod towards ZPG. Because the premise is a bit similar, but there's more war in The Children of Men. And I love the way that the United Kingdom is depicted within the film. It's quite, aren't we a blood-curdling, bloodthirsty lot? There we go. Big yellow hanger got wrapped round everything. Naughty, naughty. Go. Sometimes persuasion stick needs to come out. 5, we're down to 5. Hip, hip, hooray. She'll be done today. I will indeed. Jolly hockey sticks. Yeah. Another one I like about a dystopian England and a dystopian future, and it's a zombie film, is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. James. Yeah, M.R. James. I think the premise in that, well, it's very unusual because you see, these children, don't they look just like any other child? The only problem they have is that they can't stop eating us humans. One bite from them and we turn into a zombie. And yet, looking at them, they look absolutely like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths. And the main protagonist, Melanie, all she wants to do is to be a normal little girl. But she cannot be normal, can she? Because she is a zombie. But she doesn't look like a zombie. So how did she come into being? And when you realise how these darling little children managed to get onto planet Earth, it will make you question whether or not you ever want to get A, pregnant, and B, give birth. Because they don't come onto the planet in the normal way. And I'll just say there's not an epidural in the land that'll prepare you for this birth. Pure nightmare fuel. Oh, we're winning, guys. We're winning. We're nearly there. Oh, I can see the finish line. It's in sight. Tell you what, if you've got insomnia tonight, right, just bang this on, you'll be asleep in no time. We're nearly through. I can feel the end is in sight. I can't believe my luck. Green meadows. I'm so happy. We're nearly done. Nearly there, everyone. We're almost at the end. Isn't that great? Fantastic. Two more after this one. Oh, that's really lovely. Oh, I truly do. We hope you all had an absolutely lovely afternoon with me, watching me iron and listening to me talking about my favourite films and books and things that have shaped me in the last loads of years. Almost 50 years I've been on this planet, and I've seen a lot of things that can be explained and things that can't. I don't suppose we were meant to understand everything, but it doesn't stop us trying. You feel like you've done enough ironing just by watching me. I know. You must be exhausted. Hello, someone's saying hi. Tom, I think it is. Hello. Thank you for calling. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you feel like you want to, you can always subscribe and come along for the adventure. How am I? I'm feeling incredibly tired, young man. I am at the end almost of 2 huge blue IKEA bags worth of ironing. And believe me, I think I've earned me a cup of tea. Because that's what I'm most looking forward to, is a cup of tea. And maybe a slice of toast, if I'm a good girl. There we go. One more to go after this. Hip hip hooray, shall we done with the ironing today? I can't wait. I hope I get a break soon and not just broken legs, because that's what they feel like. Not much longer to go. I know, I'm a lucky girl, aren't I? At least I get to work from home. I can say I'm grateful for that. So, what are you doing today with yourself, Tom Tom? Shouldn't you be working and not on here watching me? But if you are, I'm very grateful and thank you. I usually come along and do a live stream. Let me think, at least 4 out of the 5 days that I'm ironing. Well, I only iron 4 days a week because it's such hard work. So I'm usually about, and we're usually talking about books and films from the times that we were kiddos, when we were younger. Now I was a teenager, back in the day, when I was a bit skinnier than I am now. Oops. There, better. Last one. Whoop, whoop. I also subscribed 2 days ago. You seem such a nice person. Hope it all goes well for you. I finished work for the day, so I'm just chilling. Oh, you lucky person. Oh, thank you very much for subscribing a couple of days ago. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. That's jolly kind of you, my darling. Last piece, everybody. Last piece, and then I get to turn the iron off. And then we'll wait for the dryer to finish. And I need to sort my daughter's uniform. And then when I've done that, the job's good. It's all done. And I get to say, it's a time for a cup of tea. And maybe a slice of toast. Or if I'm really good, I might get a crumpet. Won't mind a crumpet this afternoon. Yeah, it's a bit of a treat. Absolutely. There we go. One more sleeve to do. And then the ironing's done. How long have we been ironing for? Woo! 3.5 hours. Oh, that's not bad, is it? 3.5 hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes. Soon to be 31. Finished. Whee! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 and 10, 39. 39 items. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, my darlings, I am going to. Oh, I just noticed you have 1,500 subs, so I am lucky. Oh, I am actually. I'm really fortunate that everyone has been so kind just to come by and sit down and say, we want to know what you're talking about, woman. And do you know what? I want to know what I'm talking about and all, but look how tired I am. So I think I'm going to go and get a cup of tea now, my lovelies, and then I will be back on later, I am sure. Oh, thank you, J-Star. Treat myself, I've earned it. I am. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, my lovelies. Take care, and I will talk to you all very soon.